What a great fire that was.
And he sent me stuff after the fact. You should see. He took some from further back, and the whole sky is just lit up orange. I'm like, oh man, that is awesome.
That is cool. He did a
He
great
did.
job.
He did tell me. He goes, yeah, it's still fall colors down here, not black. So I'm like, yes, that's good.
Oh, look, Bob, we're live.
Hey, look at you.
Sorry, they're talking about his brush pile. Get down, you cats. They see
What
this
happened?
tripod. Get down.
Who are you yelling at like that, Bob?
Do what?
Who are you yelling at like that? It better not be that pretty bird.
It's not, but I got some stuff specifically for him. Sunday's my grocery, and so I just got things put away and coffee made, and I specifically got some fancy mixed nuts in packets, not just loose in a jar. And because he'll be here screaming in a minute, but I forgot to bring the box in here. It's on the counter. I'll get it.
We get it loose in a jar. So
I do too, but I did looked at the weight on it. I hadn't seen them like this before. And
we put ours inside a bird cage that's not being used and lock it up because it's like crack to those cats. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, that was one of the art cats, and he was climbing on this little mama with babies. Big bird cage here. I've got her in a bird cage, but a big cage.
Look at Dennis is in the chat. It's so good to see you, Dennis. I'm so happy.
Hey, Dennis.
I mean, everybody in the chat, I'm happy, but I'm just happy to see Dennis.
Oh, okay.
Said something.
Skipper just said he's not going to make it.
That son of a bitch.
Oh, I wanted to hear about his turtles.
Yeah.
Well, that tank we were looking at, it was a 55-gallon, not a 100-gallon.
He's talking about picking up orange cones because the haunted house closed early.
Oh.
The fire department put them out, so I guess he has to do it.
That's not acceptable reason. Those cones aren't going anywhere.
You could do that after this stream. We want
to
see turtles, damn it.
You guys are funny.
Do you mind saying hello to everybody?
Sure, I can do that.
I made Susie do it last time. Friday.
First in was Trash Cat. Hey, Trash Cat. I'd ask you how you is, but you already told me in the last stream.
Yeah, baby.
Way's here. Sam, how are you doing? Some dude named Kaler Reptiles and Aquatics is here.
Right.
Dragon Lair is here. Uncle Smiley, hi, buddy. Good to see you. What else we got here? We got me. Lucky Stone. Lucky Stone is in the house. Mickham.
Happy Sunday, Lucky.
Mickham is here, and the aforementioned Denny's here. Mike and his whole entire family shoal is here. And Night Owl is, hey, Night Owl, good to see you. Got to meet Night Owl a couple weekends ago at the Clash.
Did I meet him?
You did, I think. He was in between you and I. He had a booth right between us.
Oh, yeah.
He was with, oh my God, what is his name? Stream Brain is real, I'm telling you. Who the degenerate fish keeper?
Yeah.
What the heck is his name?
Degenerate. He's degenerate.
There's two degenerates. Oh. I can't. Anyway, Red Laser's here. Hey, Red. Paul McCarthy. Danny V. Brother Dan is here. And Bruiser. Paul McCarthy. I said hi. Red. Bruiser. I think we're up to date.
Dennis, are you still in the rehab? I think you are for about another week.
Yeah.
At least a week. He said he wasn't sure when he's going home.
I saw him post that on Postbook. I saw him post that on Facebook. And I guess I spelled Tennessee an alternative way, and Sam let us know that. When I posted the link, it said Amazon instead of Amazon. I'm like, damn it! So I had to go back in and edit it, but I didn't catch the Tennessee. Oh well.
Looks right to me.
It's hard to type on a phone when you've got arthritis. You know it.
It's hard to type on a phone, period.
It is.
So, yep,
I used to be able to do it fast. I don't know what happened.
not me.
Used to be able to.
My daughters are really good. Did I ever tell this story? I was texting back and forth with my one daughter. This was years ago. And I couldn't text that much. Like, it was like so hard. So I said, Katie, can we stop texting? It's too much. Can you call me? She's, no, I can't call you. I'm driving. So she was doing all that texting with no issue, but she couldn't pick up the phone and call me because she was driving.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a kid for you.
I was like, wow, I have to do this when I text.
Grandpa had a name.
Don't even look at. She just does that. Like her thumb just moves around.
Yeah. Some
Craig's
people,
catfish cake here. Hi, Craig.
and people can do it without looking too. I
Yeah,
think,
she does it without looking. Isn't that
Not
crazy?
this people. I can't do it when I'm looking.
Yeah. I have that autocorrect comes in so many times and it doesn't say what I want it to say, but I misspelled a word so badly that I can't figure out what I was trying to say.
I'm there every time.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Or I've misspelled it wrong so many times, it auto corrects it to the wrong spelling. That's always fun.
I'm going to break your leg off and beat you to death with it. Did I say that out loud?
Who are you talking to?
Who'd you say that to?
That cat that's up here again, the same cat. He's smart. He knows.
You need one of those things.
I've got a squirt. I'm going to get the squirt bottle too because I just had it to him in the kitchen. Let me go get that stuff now. Those nuts, because Floyd will be in here raising all manner of hell. Because he didn't get any groceries when I came in. So
You could have just gone, got it. We could have entertained the crowd for a minute.
go ahead. Go ahead. You're doing a good job.
You're okay.
Now we're gonna sit here. And
You're doing fine.
Yeah. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
So look at this. Well, you can't look at this. How can I do this?
You can explain it.
I can blow you up. I can look
See
at it.
Oh.
That was a 6-foot stand that my buddy and I just cut down to 4.
Oh, wow.
So that's
You
the
got some skills, man.
Why
that's
did you do that?
what's that?
Why did you do that, though?
Because it was no longer structurally sound to hold my 210.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So it was burn it or try to reuse
So
it.
it's perfect for like a 75, right?
Group strip. Yeah, nobody wants that, Dragon. Yeah, so I took it. I have a 120 that's in my spare bedroom down here. I call it a spare bedroom, but nobody can call it that other than me because there's no egress, access, whatever.
Oh,
And,
yes.
to get out of the basement, so I
Yes.
can't officially
The
call it
same
that.
with my basement. I can't be anything but storage. I'm like, I got a whole fish room down here. My kids lived here for years. Hello, Floyd.
Hey, there's Floyd.
I thought we were looking at your house. I'm like, how come Whip's got Floyd? I was getting jealous. I'm like, what?
I can promise you I don't have any birds in my house.
But you're gonna get one, right? One of those
I
big
don't know
blue
that I
ones?
am. The more I hear about them, especially from you and your Sophie, man, I don't.
No. Sophie is because she's a severe macaw. You are looking at that big blue grape hyacinth. They are the sweetest of all macaws.
Okay, well, it's still in the play, but if it bites me even once, it's done. So I don't know who you think you're trying to intimidate, Mr. Bird, but that's only going to happen once.
Who's saying El Jefe? Who's El Jefe? Oh, Jeff.
There's Empire of Dirt. Jeff Kane just came in.
Jeff.
I don't know if Bob thinks he's talking to us or not, but nobody can hear you, Bobby.
No, I
You can
didn't.
hear.
Oh, there
I
he is.
didn't. But now I got it unmuted. But Floyd is sitting on an 8-foot snake, so he intimidates anybody.
Wow. He's not worried about that snake, is he?
He's not worried about anything here because he's a badass. Look what I got. Look what I got.
Let's open that cage and let's see how badass he is.
He bites.
He'd be down one Floyd.
Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot. I got 4 extra large rats frozen in the truck. I got to bring in.
Dave, I do the same thing. I get a great stand, and then I need to go find a tank for it.
From just from
I
here.
totally missed what. Who said that?
Dave O.
Dave-O.
Got a great deal on a stand at a garage sale. Now you got to go find a tank.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Isn't that the best?
How the hell do you lose a spray bottle from there to here? And I
I
still
It's
do
right
all the
behind
time.
you. Right behind you.
Right behind you,
you.
Bob. Turn around. Turn around,
Unless
bright
that's a different one.
eyes.
I see a blue one right behind you.
That's a vase.
Oh,
That's
never
a vase.
mind.
Yeah, that's a vase.
That's what happens when you don't clean your glass, your plexiglass. There's 75 Jack Dempsey's in there, and they like it, I guess.
Dragon Lair says Hyacinth Macaw can take your arm off, Whip.
But they are the sweetest of all the macaws.
Yeah, okay. Now, I don't know about that if it's going to take my arm off. Look how sweet he is. Somebody call the doctor.
That's totally bizarre. 4 foot of counter, and then 4 steps to where the snakes are. Can't find it. It's white and tall.
Did
Well, you're not
maybe one of
showing
the
us-
cats knock it down?
No. Nope. Floyd just tapping on the box. I think he recognizes the pictures of the nuts. So let's see what he got.
Oh my gosh, Sophie loves cashews. Cashews?
Well, I feed these to the Pacu and myself too. So
When's Floyd's birthday? Do you know?
it was August the 8th. He turned 42.
August. There you go, Trash Cat. August 8th.
Oh, let me get. Sorry.
Oh, wait, whose birthday's tomorrow?
Susie.
There's this girl right here. Woot, woot.
Susie.
65, baby. Speaking of birthdays.
You're just a kid still, Susie.
That's right. I'm always going to be a kid to you. Oh, man.
Dragon
Lair's older than Phil. Dirt,
Hey,
everything.
he just showed up.
You said he's older than Dirt, like Dirt Jeff.
Shady Grady's here.
Shady Grady. What's up, Shady? He's pretty slim shady.
These are not as big as I thought, so I guess I'll be eating 2 of them. I also thought, well, that'll be good being diabetic. That's not enough.
What are they?
There are 8 packs of those mixed nuts. Susie gets them in the jar, and I usually do 2, but this was a better deal.
The jar is very dangerous for me because I just keep going back for handful. This
I
way.
need half a jar with Floyd, and I can. Hold on. Hold on.
So Trash Cat's child finds it's crazy that Floyd is over 40. He's only like half of his age right now, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Dragon Lair says he was around for the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Fame.
There you go. There, get it. No, up here, not the plastic, Floyd. Don't act crazy. He thinks I'm holding the nuts in the end of my fingers.
Prescott says to you, Bob, that her child finds it crazy that Floyd is over 40 years old.
Well, he's like a middle-aged person now.
So what does that work out to be? Because that would be like
Shady Grady had one live to be 82.
40 years old. I mean, they live to be 80. So
some longer.
That's 40 years old in people years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they go through a teenage time also. Wow.
Yeah. How old is Sophie? Is she a youngster or is she an old lady too?
9. She's a youngster.
9.
Yep.
She's like 6 or 7, isn't she?
9.
9. I didn't hear it. Just some more. Lord have mercy.
Uncle Smiley says he's not allowed to eat nuts right now.
Oh no! I don't know what I would do if I couldn't eat nuts. I call that protein.
That's what she said.
I think everybody was in Susie's previous stream, but there was a lot of innuendo in there.
There was a lot of it.
I must have missed it.
You did, because Bob said something, but I had something all typed out, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to say that.
What did I miss?
You said something about an extra 5 or 6 inches, and I was going to go off on that, and I'm like, nah.
And she lit up like a Christmas tree.
But my pond does. It goes down and a little extra there.
See, little dance and everything.
Trash guy. Oh Lord, my child said that bird survived 9/11. Yeah,
Oh, more than that.
yeah.
Well, he was living in Tennessee, so.
You know, there's a lot of people on this earth that weren't even alive during 9/11.
Oh, a lot of them, yeah. Oh God.
Whip,
I had been a
you
nurse.
only live once. Just say it.
I had been a nurse a long time, and I got called in early because they put a lot of hospitals, depending on how close, all that stuff, on alert. So since I was an assistant director, I had to go in early. So
Shady Grady's going to bring his parrot to the clash.
I don't know that that's allowed, Shady, but you can give it a go. Did you talk to Scotty? I know you can bring dogs.
Yeah, why would you have to talk to Scotty?
I don't know that they allow anything. I've never seen anything other than dogs. Have you?
they have those little, they have. They call
Especially
them.
if he's on a harness or in a thing.
They have those what they used to call bitches britches. They call them something more PC now. But like for little dogs that dribble or incontinent or in heat, so they don't mark their territory.
It's basically
Oh.
diapers, right?
Right. But,
Yeah.
their tail sticks out. But I saw some for parrots the other day, I think at Petco, for birds.
My duck has a diaper.
Who does?
My duck.
I thought you said Skipper. I'm like,
No, it almost looks like a little apron.
Oh, him too.
Put it around his neck and it brings up and over. So if she comes in the house,
Oh,
she doesn't come in my house though.
I wonder if it's the same apparatus.
Probably.
I remember a couple of years ago, I went to our museum here, and we have a very, very small museum, and they do every once in a while they throw together some kind of like expo, whatever, and it was about bats, and you could go through and you could see how the bats saw, if you put your head in the thing, or you could see how their ear structure was and all that, and they were talking, and they had on their, I don't remember how she was holding it. But there was a big fruit bat that she's talking about how they defecate as they take off so that they are lighter and are able to fly easier or something along that line. And she said a lot of birds do that as well.
I think my dog does that.
and then she hadn't said that for 30 seconds. And all of a sudden the bat decided it took off. And I'm not kidding you. As it's cruising silently over the crowd, it's totally crop dusting them. And I'm like, oh my God. It was not supposed to leave. But yeah, it was not on a tether. So it just said, hey, you know what? I want to be over there. I think Garcia's here, but I didn't see him sneak in. Oh, yeah, there he is right there. Hey, Mr. Garcia.
Garcia, what's up, sir?
Come on, I got one nut left for you.
That's what she
There he
said.
comes. He's really good about minding, especially. Oh, I just got rat bit.
Oh no, I think he either crapped on you or
it's seed.
It's seed. Wow, that was a lot of busted up seed.
He drops 90% of it. Oh, all of that stuff. Yeah, see, it's just seed. And the chugs.
Vincent is here.
Chugs are down there saying, "Throw more down, throw more down."
Vincent says, why are we always yelling? I used to think I wanted a 120. Then my grandma lived to he wanted to live to be 120. Then my grandma lived to 104, and I reevaluated.
I put bloodworms in the bottom of this axolotl tank, and they're going crazy.
Oh, I bet. How often do you give them those?
Not often at all. They usually have earthworms and then protein pellets that sink. That's about it.
You were raised right.
When they were babies, they had frozen bloodworms. Little.
Sam said, those words have never been put in that order, Whip. Who doesn't notice Garcia? Me. I did not see him come in.
Him with all his caps. He got all the caps.
He's got all the caps.
Funky. Look delicious. Cute. Oh, look, a squirrel. That's me. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Garcia, I can't even read the chat unless I do like that, but they're tired of looking at my nose. So these are my seeing eye people for chats. So, or my readers. Q.
Yep. It's right there in front of me today, and I can actually read it. There are days when I stream that Skipper's been on where I'm like, I can't see it.
See you later. Thought you were leaving. No.
So are we here to talk about tubs or what?
We are.
More than tubs, getting our ponds ready for winter, right?
Uh-huh.
All our outside things.
I can't contribute too much other than to say I don't like tubs just because they are so much work at the end of the year. Like what you guys are about to talk about is why I don't do tubs. I mean,
Yes,
catching
I
up
was there
all the
talking
fish out of there.
Getting my pond ready and the fish stay in it. All I
If
gotta
they
do
stayed in it, that would be different.
yes, they stay in it, and I fill it up, and I put in a big air stone about this big in case I have to turn off the waterfall. And that's all I got to do to the pond. I stop feeding them.
Alec is here.
I stopped feeding them. All my koi I stopped feeding about a month ago. And I probably won't feed them again until March.
Hey, Alec.
So that's how I get my pond ready for winter.
I started to use a thumbnail that I'd taken some pictures the last time I did a tub, I think, or maybe next to last. And I had swordtails in it. And I must have had a blue million of them. And of course, the water was really, it was black water when I brought it in because of all the wood and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All the tannins. And I thought I'd never get rid of all those fish. But I mean, they were so many of them. I said, I'll never
That's
do
like
that.
my White Cloud Mountain minnows. When I did them outside the one year, I must have had over 100. So I put 10 to 15 in every tank.
Yeah.
Now they each had like 20. So anytime somebody wants a handful of fish, I'm going to get White Cloud Mountain minnows. I put them in with my axolotls. I put them in with my turtles. I put them in everywhere.
Floyd needs some coffee to wash that down with. And I know he's not supposed to have it, but I only let him have like 3 little sips. It hasn't killed him in over a year. I'm sure he's used to it. All right, one more.
This year in my tub, the only thing that was in there, somebody said that I had rainbow fish. They're not in there anymore.
Really?
They must have just disappeared. I don't know. But I have a lot of plants. Tried this year, I put a lot of Java fern on the bottom of the tub. So I cannot wait to see what that looks like. That should be easy to pull out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see that.
So Shady says, what do you do with all your plants? And I would say, I would add to that, what do you do with all the fish that you pull out of your tubs? Because I don't know what to do with them if I were to do it. That's part of my problem. I don't know what to do.
I can tell you what I do, and then Bob can tell you what he does.
And I have a 40-gallon breeder. Hi, Davo.
I have a 40-gallon breeder that's empty. It's got some substrate in it. I use all the water from the pond and the fish that I pull out of the tub and the plants that I put out and put it in that 40-gallon breeder. And over the winter, as I do water changes, it changes from pond water to tap water. And it probably takes all winter to get that because I'm only doing 10% water changes. That way, my fish aren't experiencing anything different except for slightly warmer temperatures. That's what I do. So I'm bringing all parasites, everything that's in that in. I'm not worried about it at all. But it's staying in that 40-gallon.
But you have a tank dedicated for that.
Yes.
I do not. So I would have to find space for another tank or something big enough to hold.
If you had an indoor tub, you bring the whole tub inside.
Yeah. Is that for you, Susie? I don't think you put anybody's name.
If you're emptying the tub or pond, wouldn't adding a group of shrimp help clean it? I think shrimp can stay outside all winter. Yes, I think that would.
Some of them can. It depends on where you're at too, right?
Right. Well, I'm in Pennsylvania, and I'm pretty sure Rachel said that she kept her shrimp in her pond all year. I don't add shrimp to clean it because the pond, I don't want it that clean. I'm going to keep water in it, and I'm going to use that water next year when I start my tub. I'm not going to clean up my tub every year. That's just how I do it. I keep it nice and slimy, not slimy.
That's where all cats should be, right there.
Yeah, because I want it to be as natural pond as possible. And I never worry about parasites, or once in a while I'll worry about if I have a lot of dragonfly flies in my yard because I don't want dragonfly larvae eating my baby fish.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It looks
He's
like
not.
a cat in the cage, doesn't it?
You
He's
want me to
not.
read some of these?
Yeah, please.
Dragon Lair says my tubs are full of Amazon frogbit. I have no idea if there are fish in them anymore. Davo said I need to hurry up and set up my pond so I can take it down now. Wait says, Bob, I am still reminding you about Sarah's Oddities Expo. I think you highlighted that one.
Yeah.
And Mike says, I was slow to see your note and respond, Sam. That isn't to us. You did Mickham. I think we're up to date. Oh, no, there's one. Bob, I have a blue front Amazon named Bubbles, and she can care less about other birds. She just loves people. Is Floyd the same
Aw.
way?
I hope I get to meet Bubbles at the Clash.
Me too.
Uh,
That'd be cool. As long as she doesn't bite me.
Floyd doesn't like other birds, and the 4 parakeets I have, he'll poop in their cage. He'll fly over them, and he ignores them like they're not even there. I mean, it's awful. But even if he sees a video of himself, that's how I got him to come home with me. I showed him Amazon parrots talking, and he came to get them. I put the phone inside his travel cage, and he went right in.
Oh, wow. That's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, no, he doesn't like other birds. I think he's always been the only bird. And when I first come home, this is boring, but it's always funny because he talks in the lady's voice when he says hello or hi there. And when I first get home, every time he never says hello, he says hi there, and it's in that lady's voice. And she had a real southern drawl, worse than mine. So I hear that like 20 times. You know, he has to say it over and over and over when I first come in, and I have to answer him or he gets highly upset. He's a good boy.
Good point.
A good
Bob,
boy.
do you do something different with your tubs outside?
You know, I was hoping you weren't going to ask anything about it. But since you mentioned it, I talked and talked and talked about getting something done. And then all this stuff went on at the Ark and all that. This is our last week over there. And I signed the closing papers next Tuesday. And it's sold, cash money, all that. Everything's done. We just have the one dog that I'm trying to send to you, Susie. And you won't give him a home, but I never started the tub. It sat there and had rainwater and wood, and it's got some aquatic plants in it that somehow survived the last 2 or 3 winters.
Oh,
But
cool.
but I have so many things that I want to do
Yeah.
that like one of the cats was trying to sit on the window ledge in my bedroom a while ago, and I'm like, I'm going to get you a shelf just for that window once I really retire now. And there's so many things I want to do here to enjoy my animals. They're just being taken care of,
Yeah.
okay, but they really need more attention and more interaction and all that. So no, I didn't.
So I know what I've done in the past, which I will never do again. You get a white bucket and you put a little bit of water in and you start scooping out fish and putting it into the white bucket so you can see where there's fish. And you take, when you can pick up your pond, and pour it through the sifter, the net, and then put that in the white bucket. Like, and it is so back breaking and so time consuming. After about halfway through the tub, I don't care if there's any fry in there anymore. I'm like, it's that bad because it's never up high. It's always down on the ground, and it's like torturous, which is why I said I was never going to do that again. But then when I discovered I could bring everything, water, everything, dirt, put it in the 40-gallon, I was like, oh, well, that's doable. I like that. That's doable.
Well, what I did do when I broke them down, and the last time one year it was platypus, but the last year was swordtails, and I thought they don't do well for me. Oh my, there was probably 500.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I think the tub's a 60 or 100-gallon. It's not a huge tub, but anyway, I had no idea. I knew there were lots of fry, but so I used the water out of there, and I used a pump, to pump water out. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'll need this water. So I got my barrel, like my food quality barrel. It's a great big thing. I used to use it for my salt water, but I don't anymore. And filled that like halfway up. And then I put an air stone in it and kept it at a lower temperature. But of course, it was cycled. I don't think it stayed cycled, but I would use that to change the water, whenever I needed to, and it was frequent. But I gave some to some of the stores, and I shipped some. There may be somebody in here that got some, but I was begging people to take them. They were healthy.
Wow.
Fish that comes out of tubs, they come out of tubs, they are awesome. Their colors were just gorgeous, even in that black water. Sam brought up a good point that I wanted to touch on just briefly. If we don't care, it's not about tubs, but that's always an issue for me because I love all the animals. I don't treat them any different. If mine get candy, they all get candy. You know what I'm saying? If they get treats, they all get them. And and that's the problem that I've had is not using the ARC stuff, but just treating them like mine and getting stuff. So anyway,
That's why you have 80 snakes, 75 fish tanks, 30 cats, and 5 dogs, right?
Well, I have 5 dogs and 5 cats, and that's my limit. That's my limit because they have to go to the vet sometimes too. So that's I'm on disability Social Security, so it's not a lot of money, trust me.
Right.
But anyway, that always is a problem, Sam. And in fact, the big dog we have, Bandit, that's at the ARC, it was him and the hound has a history of a bite, bit somebody, but it's because they got in his space too quick. Anyway, the lady that's been fostering him for 2 weeks,
Yeah, right.
she's been a volunteer for 8 or 10 years, and she's on the board. She just came back on the board. She's my secretary of the board. But as she goes to all the adoption events to me every Saturday, she shows up. She's like 70. She told me yesterday at the event that she was, I want you to see this interaction if you can, that she was going to adopt him. So she did. So I said, wait, you're not going to still come, you're going to come to the event. So she said, oh yeah, but she said, I don't know about foster and now I have to settle in. So what it does when you have too many of your own, it limits your resources and space and time
Right.
for all the others. So
But that's going to be my neighbor's problem because they are a foster and they've failed twice now, so they're up there 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought one in and then they brought a second one in because the first one didn't go. They would have given her up had somebody wanted her, but she's a problem, not a problem dog. She is a
special needs.
Kind of, it's not like she's sick. She's just not comfortable around people or anything. So she's very skittish. She's slow to trust anybody, including them. It took them almost a year just to get them to relax a little bit. So they brought this other dog in to try to, loosen her up a little bit, which it worked. That worked. But now they have 2 dogs, so they're not going to get rid of either one of them.
Well, Vincent's got the right attitude for a foster parent. Like, that is exactly what you need to be a good foster family. Someone who could take care of the pet while you have it, very willing to give it to a loving home because you're going to get a new one. And you do the same thing. I got a friend down the road, he does that with puppies. He fosters these puppies, and he loves them while he has them, but he can't wait to find a permanent home for them and start again with new puppies.
So you can help more. That's the idea, is to help more. And we have a kill shelter here. So, it's the ones that are mine, I adopted them. I didn't foster them. Now, I used to have 17 cats in my house 20 years ago when I was in my late 50s and worked full time at Blue Cross. And
wow.
And did the ARC. I was the president of the ARC then, but we all did all the foster thing back then before we bought a building. But anyway, I could do it. And, I let them all go except 2 or 3 of them. And so all of those cats have passed now from age. So, and I have some old cats now that I got because they were old, because they're not they're adoptable, but people don't go in saying, I want the oldest, ugliest, snaggletooth, one-legged or whatever, But that is what I want. That's
I think if we were going to adopt a cat or a dog, we would want something that's pretty old, just to give as much loving as we can in the last few years of their life.
Yeah.
But boy, is that hard on your heart.
Oh my God, is it? Yep.
God. I can't deal with much more loss. I just I can't do it anymore. That's why I don't have any more dogs. I don't have any cats.
Well, that's what I said. And then all of a sudden I got fish and I'm like, okay, it's not so bad, until I lost the fish and started crying. I'm like, oh my God.
Maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's me, but I don't have the same attachment to the fish. I mean, I have attachments to some of them more so than others, but even the ones that I really, really enjoy, I have lost a few. Then I'm like, I was mad or sad, if you want to call it, for a day, but it's not like it affected me long term. Like when I lost my dog. Whoosh.
Well,
I watched your short. Was it a short or was it a small video that you did? That was so real, Whip. That was just so real. It touched my heart.
After the clash.
Yeah, that was really good.
didn't see
It just seemed like a lot of stuff was happening at the same time, and it was
People were
I did
falling,
see it.
hurting, dying, cancered. Like,
I saw
it.
I did.
Just to answer a quick question, who asked me that? I read it. Oh, Mickham. Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up between it and the Oscar. They do go mouth to mouth every once in a while, but neither one of them are too aggressive. And they are big. They're both 14, 15 inches. So yes, they are both large ones. And Uncle Smiley said, "Whip, you forgot the 5,000 rats."
Rats are people too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's hard too because I have mice that are food rats, and then I have food mice, and then I have rats that are not food at all. They're pets. And my colony's gotten big enough that I'm going to start sharing those to people that want pets.
Same thing, Podrick. Podrick. I'm just going to call you Dragon because I don't know how to say your name.
Dragon. Patrick. He said it's Patrick.
Patrick. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't do it again. I cannot do it again. Just forget it.
Hard.
The voice when you're voice texting it, Patrick it won't pick up, but Podrick it will. Weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
But I lost 4 of my dogs, and I had 7 boys. People want the girls; they want the boys, and I had these boys, and some I'd had for 17 years since they were puppies when I first joined the army. But anyway, over the course of not even a year, they've got all got old. One had a stroke; he was totally paralyzed. I had him in a wheelchair. Took him with me everywhere. He had a catheter that I changed myself, a nurse. Did all, but anyway, and Toby, but he made it a year, and I think he probably had a blood clot or something, but he was 16 when he died. But so after that, I was like, ooh, this sucks, and I did therapy on him every day, made sure his legs didn't freeze up. And, it was a big job to take care of him. But after about a year, had 3 dogs, and I'm like, it seems like my house is empty, This was before snakes too, pretty much. So I said, I need a girl dog. I've always wanted a little girl, and that's when I got Princess. She's 10, so heartworm positive. So that made her right up my alley. But now I'm back up to 6 again.
The most I had was 3. I had 2 rescue mixes that were Australian Shepherd mixes. One was a German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd mix, and one was a Australian Shepherd. Don't know what it was because she was so little. She was just a 40-pounder rather than well, maybe that's a normal size for an Aussie. I don't know, but she didn't look like an Aussie much. She looked almost like a miniature Aussie to me. But
that's what Princess is supposed to be, a mini Aussie.
Yes, and then we brought in an Alaskan Malamute that was another rescue. So I had 3 rescues in the house for a minute, and then Timber got blastomycosis, which is a fungal disease that killed him in like 11 days.
Huh? I never heard of that.
Yeah, look that up. That's a nasty one. They told me it's either parvo or it's blastomycosis, and I'm like, good God, let it be blastomycosis, not knowing what blastomycosis is.
Wow.
And I got my wish, and then we lost him like 11 days later. So that was no fun. But the dogs both lived pretty long. Like Cheyenne was 14, and Dakota, he lived to be 15. He lived another year after she died.
But at least that dog, even though you had it a short time, was comfortable and loved, and that short period of time, it does matter to them, I think.
Yeah,
And Huawei's making a point there. There's a lot of homeless people, and I've done a little bit of work with that as a nurse, volunteering and stuff. But I can't cut it because people suck. You know, in 45 years as a nurse, or 43, whatever it was, I've done my dues. You know, and that's the way I feel. And you know, I'm not being ugly. I just feel like I've done my stint with people. You know, but with on that level. But every time I see some homeless person with a dog, I always go to them and check on them. And I gave it a guy, I think it was a 20, a 10, I don't know, out the window yesterday. He was near the ark and walking his dog on a piece of twine. And he was coming out of the homeless shelter a couple of blocks away, I'm sure. And I just pulled over and put my hand out. He wasn't asking for money, but it was for the dog. So and I think about that you know, I'm no good because I don't do that with people generally, but I do it for animals. So
No, there's so much needed in the world. You got to pick a thing where your heart is. You can't
I
do
know
everything.
it makes me feel hard-hearted or black-hearted though that I can't do the same
But
thing.
no, you're right. I mean,
Because there's other people that wouldn't look twice at an animal, but will help the person.
people are hard to
Yeah, you're right.
yeah. Susie, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. You're kind of either delayed or I'm not sure what's going on, but you're kind of pixelated. And maybe it's just my end.
Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
I
So
see it
your mouth was moving, but no sound was coming out on my end.
like Bob.
I can't do it. John can do that really good.
I bought groceries for the homeless many times. I wouldn't give them money though. Well, I
Yeah,
usually don't have time to go buy groceries is the thing one way. So I just have to, they have an animal. I hope they're going to get the dog something. We were coming out of a restaurant one time, like 20 years ago. And I still had, didn't use cards so much back then, but you know, cash. And it was a church group and the pastor, and I forget what the group was. It may have been the church board. I can't remember, but there were a bunch of us. And I saw a guy sitting over in the grass, not right at the door, you know, but he had a little dog and it looked cold and hungry, and they both were scruffy. But anyway, I just went over and handed him whatever it was, a 20 or something. And we got on out to the parking lot. We're shaking hands and hugging with everybody. And Ty was the pastor's name. And when he shook my hand, he said, "I saw that, Mr. Kaler." So, but I don't know if he meant it good or bad, you know, that I didn't, you know, what was I doing, you know?
No, I think that was a good thing.
I not to toot my own horn, but I'm not big into helping people as a whole, because especially when I can look at them and you know, you guys could help yourself just by trying a little bit. But that's not always the case, but it's just my impression sometimes when I see them get into their Mercedes after sitting on the corner for trying to
Oh,
beg for money.
seen
But
those videos about people that do that and they stake
yeah,
them, bust them, they do that.
but the one time in Walmart, I was walking around and this guy stumbles up to me and he holds out a notebook, and it's got a big long list of just a long letter kind of telling me how he's been in a shelter and he's scared a little bit, because it's not the greatest of environments in there, and he was just trying maybe to get a hotel room where he could shower by himself and just spend a night without having to worry about it for a minute. And he's trying to raise money to get in there, and he had raised like $60 or whatever so far, because he had a little count, that he was scratching off, and as people were giving him money, and I said, I don't have any cash on me right now, but if you catch me on my way out, I will stop and get some money out of the cash machine there. So at the end, he did see me about to leave, and he says, don't worry about it. He thought I was just going to blow him off. And I said, no, you just sit right there. And I covered the rest of the money he needed. But and then he started crying and hugged me. And I'm like, I don't know if this is a scam or not, but made me feel good. Yeah.
I don't know. I've had that happen to me when I lived in Florida, and this was a long time ago. I guess I was like 35 or 40. The condominium I lived in, I think there were like 160 units, houses, and we had the lakes and the golf course.
Did they have condos that long ago?
Yeah, yeah. And it was actually built in the 80s. I bought it in the 90s. The people died and their son sold it. But anyway, I hadn't learned at that point in life, you become the boss because nobody else wants to do that. And nobody wants to do all that work and stuff. I realize it now. Now I know it. But anyway, I was the president of our condominium association for 2 years, actually. But we had a property manager and all that. So Karen was her name. But leaving one time and going out, it wasn't gated or anything, but it was, a little upscale. I wouldn't live any place like that now. But anyway, there was a family, they had the kids and the husband and wife, and they didn't look bad, but I thought, God, I can't deal with kids being hungry. And it said the sign, I'll work for food or we'll work for food. And so I pulled over and talked to them, and I gave them my card, not like my business card from work, a nursing card, but it had my number on it, and flip phone back then. But anyway, I said, if you'll call me, and I'm the, have to do with the property right in past the golf course there, and we definitely could use some stuff. We were talking about some extra projects, and our maintenance man, we had a maintenance man full time. He's been out sick or something, so there's definitely some a few days of work. And I can put you up in the guest apartment, in the pool house, stuff like that. And I've talked to them a long time. And I said, and we keep supplies of food and stuff, and I'll get some extra stuff in there. Do you know they never came, never contacted me? And I thought, I guess they weren't that hungry. Or maybe some deal came along better than I could offer them, but Jesus.
Right.
And I worried about those kids after that. And so I just can't get into it with people anymore,
You know that I think it was 10 years sober and got kind of squished out of my house with 4 kids and homeless.
No.
With 4 of my daughters, yeah. My girlfriend let me stay in this rundown house. It was like filled with trash. Like whoever was there before, just filled with trash. I mean, floor to ceiling. And it was in a very bad neighborhood. Somebody was living in the basement, but I was ever so grateful.
Well, yeah.
And got back on my feet again. And first thing I did is join the church, and they just surrounded me and my kids. It was great.
Yeah. Yep.
And I stayed sober. That's the most important part. That's a tough go of it. That's a tough go of it.
That's one of the issues, and not to get into religion and politics, because I don't like that on here myself, but that's one of the issues that me personally I have with church, like the organization church, is there's so many resources and so many people and all the things that we should be doing, and there are people begging when you leave church right down the street. Why? I realize it's a whole lot more than that. Being a manager and a nurse, I get it, but I can't deal with it.
No, and it was great because we were in Philly, and we would go out after a service and put on the barbecue, and just like 10 pounds of hot dogs, and just
anybody, exactly, right. And what would that cost?
And it was fun. It was during the day. It was nice. Like at night, you couldn't do that because you'd be in danger. But during the day, it was fun. That the priest that we had at the time, he would go around. He put his life in danger all the time and exchange guns for food vouchers.
Oh, wow.
And then he would go to the police station and drop everything off. Like they were not signed up with him. They didn't, but he just did it anyway. And parents were taking guns from their kids and stuff and coming and getting $100 worth of food. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I learned a lot from that guy.
You're right, Vincent. There's a guy that's self-proclaimed pastor, and he lives at the shelter a few blocks from us. And the one that adopted Bandit was telling me that they were on not the river walk, but it's a creek thing we have in town. It's a couple miles the other day. And that this guy came up there and she started talking about him. And at first she said he was just ragging on Elon Musk. And then she started telling this other stuff and wanted to anoint him with oil. And I said, does he look like? I said, yes, he's been stopped in the ark 3 times, and I don't have the heart not to let him in, Yeah. And I always offer him a snack, and he takes it. He takes it with him, though. So, yeah, the mental illness, and, you don't know what people are dealing with,
No,
now, there's a big push in Philly about 20 years on. I don't think Philly's the only city that they're closing down all these mental hospitals, and there's no place for people to live. That it was like, we're talking grown people that needed help with their medications and they didn't have all the life skills that they needed. And they're all on this. They had no choice but to be homeless. It was very sad.
When I
They
went to
did the same
nursing
thing here.
school,
Yeah. That's what
when I
I
went
thought.
to nursing school in the 70s, that was one of the things they taught us in psychiatric nursing rotation was why there's so many homeless people is that in the 50s they had closed down all of
Isn't
these
that ridiculous?
institutions and right.
Yeah. But I know a lot of businesses popped up where they buy houses and apartments and then made them assistant living centers. And we have a lot of companies around here that you can get a job, whether you're helping like make dinners, teaching how to cook, grocery shop.
Yeah, one of my best volunteers, I'm going to lose him. He can't drive. He just turned 30, actually Friday, and he goes to a place called Life Bridges, and they have an inpatient, but they also have houses and apartments. And he has a roommate in an apartment, and they manage his money and all that. But he's super smart. But the last time I'll see him will be October 30th.
Oh, no.
We're going to what is it called? Trunk or treat. They park all around the church, and
Yeah.
we're going to do like a tailgate thing. We went last year, and it was a huge turnout. And you just give out candy. They provide it. The church does.
It's a nice, safe way for doing
Yes,
that. Yeah.
yes. And we made a lot of good contacts. But that'll be the last time I'll see him. So there are programs. It's just not enough, and getting people to partake of them is the thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to jump through some hoops, and it seems like almost impossible to get through to the other side.
How do we get on some of these topics?
I don't know, but that's not bringing in fish from the winter.
That's for sure.
No.
It's bringing in people from the winter.
Well, one thing that I was going to mention is what are people in the chat too, especially what ways that do you acclimate them? Like how do you, the water is one big way, and we talked about that a little bit, but there's the temperature, the light, the feeding, all that stuff has to be changed, but how do you guys do that?
Well, I know the chat might chime in too, but I find when I bring the pond in, including the glutch on the bottom, there's, what do you call that, microfauna? There's stuff that the fish have been eating.
Yeah.
But they continue. So I just keep changing the water. I don't do anything different. Nothing different. I don't add a heater, anything. I just keep changing the water until it's up to room temperature, and then you can see through the water again, and then maybe start feeding them. That's how I do it. Because otherwise, for me, I think it's.
So you do that all year round, or no? You just bring it in. Is what you do.
I use a 40-gallon breeder, but I bring in the sludge from the bottom and the water.
Yeah.
It basically looks like a 40-gallon muck tank. But
Look
the
at
fish
this
are
guy.
fine, and they can look at the rat, and they keep eating whatever fauna is in there, and little microfaunas and mosquito larvae, whatever's in there.
The thing that matters is it works, right?
It does.
Yeah.
And it's a gradual. After a couple months of being inside, all of a sudden now you can see through the tank. Like the muck kind of much settles, and you can see how much fish is in there. You can see how many plants are in there, and then you can start playing around with it.
Right.
Now they're in my tap water again after a couple months.
Yeah.
I wonder. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just going to say along that line, Father Fish is really good with teaching about that microfauna and, getting a handful of goop out of the bottom of a pond to, start something off and stuff.
Yeah.
He's awesome with that stuff.
I wonder if it would behoove you to just do water changes in the tub all year long, and then when you bring them in, it's not a big deal.
Oh, I think one of the benefits of the tubs outside is no water changes. When it rains, it water changes. I don't feed my tubs. Very rarely do I feed them anything.
Your tubs, I know your pond is in ground, but how many of your...
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 above ground that are either 50, 75, or 100. I got a couple 200 that are in ground. And
Jesus, I didn't know you had all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you don't, I would imagine you're not pulling anything out of the in-ground stuff, right?
Yes, that's what I said. I had to go 6 to 10 inches below my toes to pull out certain things this year. I'm like, I'll never do that one again.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that was for just turtles. There's turtles in there, and and they're big. They're this big, and I'm having a hard time getting them out. I'm like, it's almost like you have to kneel on the ground and keep reaching down. I'm like, that's a bit much. Although they can stay out there longer because it's more insulated. No, I think I'll keep it to plants and big ass turtles that are easy to grab.
Right.
Lord,
Or don't put turtles in there. Keep them
Or
in your.
goldfish. The goldfish I leave outside all year round.
Yeah, goldfish, koi. They can live outside.
Yeah, and now that I know that the shrimp can and the minnows probably could have done fine.
I know the minnows can too, because Rico had his live at least one season outside, but
Yeah,
then he lost the heater or something happened where it froze over.
Mickham has some input.
where's that at?
He highlighted it once.
Oh yeah, I just didn't leave it up very long though.
Most fish can take 2 to 4 weeks without feeding. Absolutely. Feeding too much is the bigger issue. Yep, I agree. If moving them to a warmer tank, lack of oxygen, exactly. Exactly. That's why I try to keep it as much as outside as possible. And this was such a slow transition. Reagan closed down most of the house in the 60s when he was governor in California. Yeah, he wasn't the only one. It was really sad.
It was a
It's
national.
hard enough when you're homeless because you're down and out. But when you've got mental issues on top of it, there's people that a lot of people don't understand. Like, they can't just sit down and fill out a form. Like, you might as well tell them to, I don't know. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, oh, that's right. That's right. It wasn't the heater. It was the bubbler that in the pond froze over solid, and then they couldn't exchange gases and everything.
Right. That's why I use the air stone about that big.
Yeah.
Keeps it bubbling. That's for my 2,000 gallon. But last year it didn't freeze here. My waterfall did not freeze up. The winter before it did. So that's when I unplug it and just use the air filter. But
The first year I did a tub on my deck, it's still sitting out there. I put heaters in it, kind of like Lucas.
oh wow,
Covered it and stuff, but it doesn't get cold like it does up there.
Right.
And they survived. I can't remember what I had. They were egg layers, whatever they were.
Yeah.
Well,
Here I'm trying to get rid of my heaters in my fish room. I can't afford my electric bill.
Ain't
yeah.
that the truth? Well, you have so many fish tanks. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Have you ever attempted the heating of the room instead of the tank itself?
I would say only 10% of my tanks have heater, and they're the ones that have like babies in them. And I left the heater in this because I wasn't sure about the eel and my 180. All the other ones, it's room temperature.
Did
And
you say the eel?
75 in here, so the tanks are probably about 70.
Did you say the eel? You weren't sure about the eel?
Yeah, I wasn't sure because it's an eel, 2 ropefish, and 2 dojo loaches, and it came with a heater with a thermostat, so I just set the whole thing up like that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't know enough. I mean, I have one as well, but I don't have as many tanks as you have. I only have the 9, so I just heat the tanks instead of the room.
Just the 9.
Just, I know, right?
Just
only here can you get away with saying that.
well, when I'm looking at what you have, Bob, and what you have, Susie, I mean, 9 probably isn't one.
I wish I could keep this room warmer. I don't know how, because it's a basement. It's a basement. Like, how do you, like, unless we put in like a mini split, that might be the only way. Because I wouldn't mind if it was 90 degrees in there all the time, or I would have wanted 80, 82 degrees, 80 degrees would be perfect for like all my tanks, except for my axolotls. Then I'd have a problem.
Yep.
Too warm for my axolotls. So
you'd have to have them in a different room.
Right.
Or buy a chiller or whatever those things are for
these guys came with a chiller. When she gave me this tank and these axolotls, she gave me a chiller.
I don't know enough about that kind of stuff to speak on it, but yeah, I would imagine that would work if you were to heat the room.
That would be nice.
I never used a chiller. I just had mine low to the ground, like a foot off.
Mine's low to the ground. It stays in the 60s. I do have a frozen water bottle just in case
I had to do that a couple summers ago when I had to freeze water.
Yeah, a couple summers ago when it was like 100 degrees for like weeks on end. It's like,
My air went off and it was getting in the 80s, and I'm like,
woo.
my other fish, even I had to do that with some of them, so it was
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yes, like they do.
I actually lowered my electric bill probably by $200 a month when I didn't remove the heaters. I unplugged them. I have them still there just in case I lose heat in my house.
Yeah.
I plugged them in, and I was afraid they would break if I had so many heaters. What am I going to do with them all? So I left them in the tank, just unplugged them. $200. And I know if I could do that with my reptile room, but the reptiles need that UVB and UVA light, and some need extra heat. It's like, it's not a matter of discomfort.
Those rope fish, he was asking you about the rope fish when I was cutting up a silver side last night for my new little water snake, which it didn't eat. I left a couple pieces overnight. But anyway, I forgot and left the rest of it sitting there overnight typically. And of course, it being in a warm reptile room. But I poured it in the 180 and the rope fish came right out and gobbled all that up.
Really?
Oh yeah, they are definitely carnivores.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I was
these
hoping
fish I didn't do any research on when they were given to me. So I don't know anything about the rope fish, the dojo loaches, the knife fish, and the eel. These are all fish that no research, just got them overnight. And I'm like, well, now what?
Rope fish
Yeah.
are almost identical care-wise as the biker and the.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, they're talking about having dreams. Trash Cat and Wei Wei and Vincent. Now, have you guys ever had a dream where your fish are swimming around in the air? Have you ever had that dream? I've had that dream multiple times where they're no longer in the tank. They're just kind of cruising around the room.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
Right? I'm like, that's awesome. But then you wake up and it's not true.
That would be so cool, wouldn't
that
it?
would be super cool. Wow.
Like if you built a fish tank, you know how they have in the museums with the little bubble you can stick your head up? Well, just make
Yeah.
it
Oh, yeah, right.
whole body. It's like, what?
That would be. Has anybody ever made the inverted tank? You know, and
I did in my pond. I did in my pond once. I put a fish tank in there, turned it upside down, and brought it almost all the way up. But I kept the rim underwater and put them on 2 cinder blocks. And the fish could stick their head up, and they swam up there. Only the fancy goldfish came up. The koi never popped up in there. Just
Bunny viper. Holy cow.
no bunny.
Wrote a huge text and it disappeared when I had to text my mom, apparently. I hope you guys will stay despite Daniken tonight. I really need y'all tonight. Hello, Bob, Whip, and Sue.
Oh my gosh, it's after 9.
It is. I've been watching for somebody to say he'd gone live. Well,
He is. He did. So that's why I posted the link. But
Oh
But
no,
I wasn't.
bunny.
usually
wasn't in a
somebody
hurry
will
to
say
get out of
he's
here.
live. Well, let's anybody that needs to leave or wants to leave, go on over to Daniken's. But I'll stay, and you guys don't have to, but I'll definitely stay. But anytime somebody wants somebody to go longer, I'm happy to do
Oh,
that.
bunny, I love you. I wish I could stay. I can't. I gotta run.
Susie, you're up way up past your bedtime.
Oh my god.
No, she's not. She's staying up all night and going to celebrate at
I'm
12:01.
setting my alarm for midnight just so I can wake John Baga up and say it's my
You-
birthday.
You can just stay and talk with us till midnight.
All right,
Susie.
you can see me.
Yeah, you'll be like this.
Whip, I don't think I could make it that long. Last week, I meant to ask you, Susie, real quick. Last week, before we went live on it was on Ret Tails just a couple nights ago. But anyway, I was running late it doesn't matter why, but I didn't get on for like 5 or 10 minutes late. But Skipper was being Skipper and posted like in the chat, I hope Bob's got his pants on. And just people were just trying to needle me to say something or where is he? And I think he even called me. Somebody did, but I ignored it. But anyway, when something happened to me or to my stream, and it kept, I couldn't see, I couldn't hear, and they were still going on and on and on. But I'm like, well, I'm finally going to end it because it kept kicking me out. And but then they told me, well, we're still backstage, and I said, well, it's not live, but they're there. And I tried to get backstage and I couldn't, but I finally did. But anyway, and I went in my bedroom and I was standing, doing this stuff. And I said, I am taking my pants off, Skipper, just so you know. And then I laid down, and Skipper had to step away a minute. And I told Whip before you came on, I said, I just realized that Susie said, "Oh, I hear John Baga calling me." And I hope you didn't think I was being a creep and saying I'm laying in the bed with my pants off.
I did not think that at all.
Okay.
Susie's like, I gotta go.
I know, right? I would have stayed, Bob. I would have stayed.
And I had the dogs laying on me. I just had, it was one of those days I needed to lay
That's
down.
funny. No.
But anyway, Skipper came back, and she kept the same story. She said, "John's calling me. I gotta go." So, but anyway, I try not to be too off color. You know that.
No, that's so funny. Yes, Alec, I still have my amazing turtles, bringing them in. I am rehoming one of my tortoises to a nice young man who's very deserving of keeping a Russian tortoise. So I think I'm at 21. That's correct, Vincent.
Alec, there was quite a bit of content about the turtles and where that turtle's going and stuff on Susie's stream just before this, so the replay will be good for sure. Usually they suck, but this one will be good.
Look at I left the fingertips on, but took all the glove off. Do you see them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay.
What do you keep doing to your hands that I'm teasing?
I know, right? Why don't you just stop?
Why don't you just stop doing whatever it is you're doing?
What the hell? Who would have thought of that? Like any normal, sane person.
And don't you know if you keep doing that, you're gonna go blind?
Hey, I thought we weren't talking about religions.
Right. Y'all got Patrick's lips raw from having lobotomy soon. Well, anybody that needs to leave, please go ahead and go. Susie, go ahead and go, because I'm going to hang around a little bit.
Okay.
I hope it doesn't bother Danica, but please go on over there, but I want to see.
All right, guys.
Do.
I love you, Ivy. Good luck.
Night. She's such a cool lady. Are you going to hang with us, Whip? Or are you going
I can hang with you for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to stay on a long time because you see I've got children that need me.
Yep. I need a bed that needs me.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I have a bed that needs me.
This is when I do most of my home stuff. It's like 9, 10 o'clock till 2 or 3, 4 in the morning. Risque things just fall out of my mouth, right, Dragon Lair?
Men of a certain age, right, Bob?
Yeah, you got it.
We tend to say things we probably ought not.
Oh, you're not even to the bad part yet, or the good part, depending on how you look at it. We were talking about that before the stream, saying that I try not to do the old man thing and say stupid things that nobody cares about, which I catch myself doing it. I wonder what's going on with Miss Bunny.
She's just dealing with a lot of crap.
I haven't seen her or talked to her in forever. It's life, keep those lips together. That's good advice, Trash Cat. Is that from experience or something you read about? Something you read?
My old boss used to tell me something, and I can't remember what it is, but it had something to do about before you separate your upper lip from your lower lip. Just if I think of it, I will give you the whole thing. But
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
He was an old Army guy.
Oh, he's got some good ones. Probably better than the old nurses have. Nurses have some smutty jokes, let me tell you.
Yes, my daughter is she's not a nurse, but she is, she's, what do you call it? What's an ambulance driver's title?
EMT or?
She's an EMT in the ER. So she doesn't go out and into the field very often, but she is right there in the ER.
She hears all the smut then.
Oh, yeah. And really, my other daughter is also in the hospital, in the medical. But she's the one that pulls the scripts and then goes out and gets them to the patients and everything. So she has plenty of exposure to all you crazy nurses too.
Yeah, probably like a medication tech or
Yeah,
pharmacy
yeah,
tech
yeah.
or something. You
I'm not
know,
sure what's that.
I was going to say all the titles have changed, so much, even before I retired. That used to just be like RN, LPN, CNA, but now there's all kinds of other levels, which we needed way back then in between that, so it's awesome. Sam, you all, what?
Dragon says, I got to pee. I'll see you later.
Well, there you go. And we only went down from 26 to 23. Floyd, you
Well,
better.
that's not bad.
No, well, not bad for us, but I hope it's not bad. I hope it isn't bad for Kenny, though. I don't like to go on anybody's time, but when somebody,
I don't know what he normally gets, but he's sitting at 30. I'm streaming him even though I can't hear him, just so that he gets the watch hours.
so he can see you in there, right?
I haven't typed, no.
Oh, okay. Are you a mod there? I can't remember.
No.
Okay.
I usually miss this show because honestly, 4 o'clock in the morning comes so damn early. I'm usually in bed by 9. So.
Oh my God, that's when I just turn over the first time or get up to the bathroom. Seriously, I'm never asleep before 3:30 or 4. Never.
Oh, you stay up all that time? You're like,
Yeah, this is my productive time, like right
yeah.
after this. Yep.
I can't do that anymore. I used to stay up really late all the time, and I don't know what I don't know if I just got old or if just my body is changing to the point where I can't stay awake now. I'll get so heavy eyed. I'm like, I got to go to bed. I can't, I can't stay up anymore.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll sit down to check ARC emails or the Facebook page or something and take a break because 5-6 hours is even if it's just at home, is a lot of work. But I'll fall asleep sometimes. I did that a couple of nights ago, and it really hurts my neck. Really hurts. But so I nap sometimes. You like chest tube? You dislike chest tubes? I bet. Mickham, I'm listening to you, but often have several streams up on my laptop. That's true. When I used to use my computer, I would do two at a time, but I haven't even turned that new one on. I haven't even set it up, and I guess I've had it about 2 years now. I'm beginning to want
You've had it for 2 years and haven't turned it on?
a new one. I mean, it works. I turned it on, but I haven't put like anything on it, any of the YouTube stuff or anything. There's nothing on there. I'd have to take some time to set it up. I'm going to have to because I'm doing all the printing and stuff like that of the ARC stuff now. It all fell to me, and I said 2 months ago, guys, somebody needs to decide. I'm not taking all that shit home with me and fostering and blah 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 blah. And so, but you know how it went.
Right.
You want to be the boss, right? Want to be the president, right? No, I'm learning. Finally, at nearly 70.
Yeah.
Craig, hey Craig, what's going on?
Hey, Gregor. So Mickham says, I'm listening to you, to you, but often have several streams up on my laptop. A good way to support the more streamers. Yeah, long as you're not, I mean, maybe you're better at it, but I can't. I certainly can't watch more than one at a time, just because I'll get lost. Forget who I'm talking to.
And I'm honest, I think I've told you all, I really am not on YouTube much at all. Um, if I'm on an hour a day that I'm not streaming, that's a big day for me. I really do like TikTok, and I know a lot of people don't, but it does what I want to do. So,
It's not that I don't like it. It's just I am up to here with social media as far as what I can handle now. So I'm not adding another one. I tried adding Discord because everybody's.
I don't like Discord.
I don't. I don't see what the difference is between that and really Facebook. I mean, there's differences, but it just seems harder than Facebook. And I'm already invested in Facebook. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, but I just scroll past the crap I don't want to look at. So,
You're, you're right, Red Laser. I will have to set a day aside, but it won't be in the next couple of months yet. Yeah, I just ignore everything else, or I just, like I say, I'll come on for an hour, sometimes 15 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, and check, things like how's the video. That's one reason I don't post much on YouTube anymore, and it's mostly snake stuff or reptile stuff. I
right.
just don't really have the time or take the time anymore to, interact with people, because I love to interact, and when people.
I think it's mostly based on what which one you like now. I mean, like I am heavily invested in YouTube now, and I don't go over to Facebook as much as I used to. Not even close. I mean, I used to be on Facebook almost 24/7, and now I'm hardly on over there at all, and I'm here all the time.
I keep almost constantly. I'm a little bit below that now, but because I cleaned some out, but I keep 5,000 people, friends or whatever, on Facebook all the time, and I've had that like 8 or 10 years. But that came from the 16 election, no politics, but came from that, and working with 5,000 people, nurses and Blue Cross, and lots of family, hillbilly family. So once I got it going. And I do post on that because I love to be cynical and I know, shocker, but I do
Right.
love to be sarcastic. You didn't know that about me, I know, but right.
I
But
did not. I was brand new to me.
so see, you're learning. But some of my secrets. But anyway, I do love that, and I even had my little nephew come. He's 25 and say, "I worry about some of the things you post," and I'm like, "Yes." But his grandmother, my sister, said he does that for reaction or to get conversation going, and just ignore it or don't click on them, and
Right.
stuff.
Just move on.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, I would be lying if I told you that I've always had that philosophy. Because 15 years ago, I would go full in, to argue my point on somebody else's channel or page or whatever it's called. And I'm like, why am I doing that? They're allowed to have an opinion, same as me. So let them have it. I just finally, I was tired of stirring the pot, and I just, now I just live my life, and I don't pay attention to anybody else.
Yeah. Well, one thing I decided is I'm not going to let politics or religion have that much of my time or attention. I mean, I know what I like, what I'm about, that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to be baited. Like he was saying, boomers have a problem with being baited. But there are a few now, but there are not a whole lot of fish fan people on TikTok. But slowly people are filtering over there. Um, and one is, a lot of people might remember Madfish Diva, Char Thornton. She was big friends and still is with Candy. Remember, Candy used to mod for everybody. She does
Yeah.
for Corey. And but anyway, and she actually taught me indirectly how to mod, even though I don't anymore. But so anyway, Madfish Diva, she had an awesome YouTube channel, but just the dramas and the stuff. But she's got a really good TikTok channel, and she asked me and Pam and some of her friends. Oh, Mark, Mark. What's Mark's last name? Big Easy. That Mark Big Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of the mods too on there, and so she's going live like 4 or 5 times a week. But her channel is political. It's about politics and who she supports, and we're like minded. So, but she wants to get discussion and see why people are doing this or doing that or voting this. So, I in the right venue or the right discussion, and I don't say much of anything. She told me not to time people out so much, so I backed off that. So, power hungry.
Right.
But because she does want people to talk, as long as they're not threatening or demeaning or that kind of stuff. So I agree
Right.
with that. So anyway, so she's on there now, and it's good to. I haven't talked to her really in like 2 or 3 years, so it's awesome to see her. Last time I talked with Diva was she liked some rocks that were at the store Ed and I go to a lot, Aquatic Aesthetics, and I was doing a live tour there, and so I sent them to her. That was not a cheap shipping, but she really loved these black and white rocks, so I sent them to her. She used to keep those little fish that are not mud skippers and not plecos. What are those things called? Somebody will know. I never did keep them.
The hill stream loaches.
Yes, yeah, and she had a great tank that was like different levels and all that. She's just a cool lady. She's about my age, maybe a couple of years younger. So it's good to see her on TikTok. But I don't follow any fish channels at all. Even people I know from here. Over there, it's all reptile, and people that nobody would know really. So it's kind of like a whole new world thing.
Right.
Bickham, did you watch the stream where Fishy Biz and Funkin' Sam handled two young faker fish tubers who stole other people's No.
I didn't see it either. Was that recent?
I went into Fishy Biz's stream like he used to be Monday nights. I don't know if he still, but I saw he was live and I thought, what the hell? And I was still had a wrench, and somebody said something about it. He said, yeah, Bob's been on out a long time. So I guess he just did never take it out, which was fine. I didn't need to use it, but I just went in to say hi. Yeah, using their content on their own content.
About a month ago. Yeah, honestly, if it was on Fishy Biz's channel, he just goes on too late for me. Sometimes I catch a replay, but usually it's a lot to take in because he's got a lot of energy and a lot of things going on in there that it's hard to watch on the replay. I'd rather watch it live so I can interact with him.
Oh, it was a joke. I got it now. You all were just faking it like it was somebody else's.
Oh,
Okay.
that makes it better.
Well, I could see how you could come off as a good fraud, Sam. I could see that, or a fake. I could see that. Fishy Biz channel, yeah. Drew. His name is Drew, and he got into puffers, and I had my big puffer back then, a great big one, the freshwater one, and so that's how we kind of connected a little bit. Low power mode, 20% battery.
Uh-oh.
Well, 20% will last 3 or 4 hours, but I won't be doing it that long. Well, Bunny never came back, did she?
She did not. Steamfont did say, I was watching that one. Steamfont said that somebody had stole his content. I think he pointed the finger over at Predatory Fins using photos that they from Steamfont. Whatever. If they want to get butthurt about something like that, I mean, people have used my stuff a bunch of times, like bands and stuff, where I've taken pictures and posted it to Facebook, and
Yeah.
next thing I know, they've got it on their page. I'm like, cool. I mean, actually, that's
Mine
why
is
I put it up.
mine's so crappy usually, and seriously, because I don't care. As long as I'm having fun, I do not care. Y'all know that. You can't
Right.
hear it, you can't see it, you can't. I'm not talking or whatever. But what were those? It was the Cichlid brothers or Cichlid.
There is the Cichlid brothers
There's
here in
3.
Chicago.
Yeah, 3 of them, and they have some really nice tanks. He messaged me like a year and a half ago, and it really shocked me. Can we use some of your for this particular cichlid? And I said, sure, no problem. And he just wanted it in writing.
Right.
So that was nice. But that's the only time that anybody's ever braved using any of it. Steam Oh, you already read that. Well, I'll give Bunny a couple more minutes. If you need to go though, don't hang out.
I got nowhere to be other than bed. So.
Yeah, I wish for me.
And I'm an hour behind you, so it's only 8:30 here.
I didn't get up till 11 today. Sunday's my sleep-in day, and then I work my ass off at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
that's why I have no ass. Well, there's still 22 people in here. I can't believe it.
Just listening to us ramble.
This shows you people will listen to anything. They'll watch.
Right.
Proof right there.
They're all just watching Floyd sleep on your shoulder. That's what
I forget he's up there a lot of times. I forgot he was there. Wake up and help me, huh?
He is out. He's not opening an eye for nothing.
Oh, he cat naps. He parrot naps all the time, and he'll be raising hell when I get off here wanting some nuts or something. What? I wish he had never learned what, because I'll be looking for him and he'll answer me, but I don't know where he's at. What? What? And it's my voice. It's my voice. He says what in. So funny. Well, if no one talks either in a little bit, they may be watching another channel too. That's what I'd be doing if I was in the chat here. Watching another. For real. For real. I'm trying to think what's going on TikTok. I know at 11, Madfish Diva, over there, she's Miss Research, MS period research. That's her channel. Because I know y'all will want to go over there and hear about politics. But that's what she's.
I run and hide when anytime politics comes up.
Well, she picked two good ones, and Mark's good too. But Pam and I can go there. We can get, and a lot of my times I'm just playing, but and religion. But it gets old.
Yeah.
Still,
Bruiser says he's still watching.
yeah. Well, there's one.
Hey, there's one. It's the three of us.
I want to get. I think Friday Jenny Lynn must have been off because she was talking like she was, and I thought, why didn't I'm going to start asking her every week because they have several new things since she came on several months ago. So I want to get them back on. I'm going to sleep here. Brought Mom to the doctor tomorrow. Need to sleep.
Yeah. See you later, Mickham. Have a good night.
Good night. Thanks, Mick.
Uncle Smiley says, I'm still here.
Yeah. Hey, Joel.
Yeah.
Now that I know his name's Joel, one of my best friends was Joel when I was a kid, so I always call him Joel. Do you think Jesus was a Democrat or Republican? Well,
Hey, let's bring them both in. Sam.
I don't know. I could go there, but I'm not. It's not worth it. People get triggered so easy, too. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I
Danny's
can't.
still watching.
Hey, Danny. Or Dennis. I've never called you Danny. I'm going to put Sam in timeout just for the hell of it. Let's see. Put user in timeout. All right. One more political comment. One more and laughing about it.
He double dog dares you there, Sam. He's double dog daring you.
I don't know if he could control himself in timeout for 5. You can't put me in there, though. That's the thing. Is that a threat for whip? Who are you threatening? Threatening the chat. Oh, my God. Get him, trash cat. Oh, she does. I didn't know she. That'll kill you. You know what? If you
What's
do
that?
that.
I totally missed it.
Rotating shifts. Where is it? Yeah, because she works. Didn't she work with 911 or something like that? I know it's. Watch out, Sam. I thought you left, Mickham. I thought you left. I can't do anything to Bob. Nope, you can't. He sends me some off-color videos, which I really enjoy.
Big Steve-O came in. Hello.
Howdy, howdy. I'm taking the check down with me. The chat. Yeah, I used to do that rotate when I was first out of college, nursing school, all the same. And I went to work in an open heart ICU in 78. So it was a brand new thing back then over at the big Erlanger Hospital in Chattanooga. And you had to do either straight 3 to 11 or day shift or night shift or rotate. And so I said, I'll do the rotate. Big mistake. Because you get off at 11, it's party time then, I was like 22 or 23, so
Right.
I switched as soon as I could. Yeah, that working nights or rotating especially, I think it'll kill you if you do it long enough.
And my kid down in Kansas City, she has two jobs. She has a full-time job where she's working in like a vascular something or other. I don't know what she does, but she wears the whole schmuck and the whole, working on people. And then she is on the ER thing on the weekend. So there's lots of times when she leaves her day job on a Friday, goes straight to the ER, works all night until like 7 o'clock in the morning, then comes home and crashes. And I just hope she always makes it home before she crashes. I've always told her, I said, man, you call me and we'll talk the whole way home if you need to have somebody to talk to. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Just call me because you know how it is when you've been working damn near 24 hours trying to make it home. You're pounding the monsters and nothing's working.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. That's rough. I remember those days. I remember them.
Yeah, they're not fun.
And going to school, I used to go to school during the day, nursing school, and then I would sleep in the evenings. And I worked night shift, but it was at a nursing home. And I took that job. I was offered two or three like that. They were entry level jobs. I mean, but I had choices, and I took that one because it was the patient care on night shift until early morning is pretty light if everything's going smooth. So we would do rounds every 2 hours and take people to the bathroom or clean up people, give them a drink, whatever, but it might take an hour for the three of us. There were three of us. And then I could study, unless somebody put their call out on or something. So that's how I could do that, work full time and go to school. But that, I couldn't do that now. Jesus.
No,
Wouldn't
me
want
either.
it.
There's times when we work like a 16-hour shift and then I have to drive 2 hours home, and that's hard enough. I can't even imagine doing a 24-hour.
I just wonder how many people, that's a whole different topic though, would, if they had it to do over, would do the same job, or if they would do, I wouldn't. Now that I've done it, I would not want to be a nurse again. Nothing bad or anything, but there are other things I would want to be. I'd love to be like an archaeologist, but I wasn't smart enough to do anything like that. The grades or
Right.
or to be able to get through what the schooling you would need to actually be a serious one. So my mother used to say, "Want in one hand and what in the other."
Yep.
Yep.
My dream was always to work with animals, like somebody who um, works with wolves or something along those lines, and well, wolves in particular. But I would have done anything really. But I didn't have the brain power to. There's a lot of stuff. It's more than just feeding them, and you got to know a lot of stuff. So
Oh yeah.
biology was never my strong suit. That's one of the major things you need.
Actually, for some reason, I did well in science and biology, math, English, that kind of stuff. The basic life skills, I couldn't do those.
Right.
I was,
That's my daughter too. She's fantastic in science and biology. And oh my goodness, I said I don't know where you got that from, but certainly wasn't me.
I had to have one of the other students tutor me just to pass our pharmacology test in nursing school. You had to make like a B on it or so, figuring dosages and stuff. Now you don't have to do that. It all comes pre-measured with instructions and the doses on everything. But back then, nurses actually had to mix up things, and a lot of mistakes, could happen.
Oh,
And
I bet.
yeah, yeah. One girl that we went to graduated with, lady, her name was Anna Schmid. I'm sure she's been dead 40 years, but she was an LPN, and she was the real prim and proper, the white hose, the white shoes that were scuffless, the white dress, no pants, no scrubs. You couldn't wear scrubs back then. That was, only doctors could in OR or nurses in OR. But anyway, we graduated, and she had been working as a nurse for 30 years or whatever, an LPN, and she had to do, her job changed, her duties changed, and she had to mix a heparin IV drip for a patient, and she put 10 times the amount in. that was supposed to be in it, and the patient started bleeding. The patient died before they caught it. Yeah, they couldn't reverse it, and so I've never forgotten the antagonist for heparin is protamine sulfate. That it took something like that, a horrible thing, to reverse the effect so that you wouldn't keep bleeding.
Right.
But protamine sulfate. But anyway, but ask me another drug question, and I won't be able to answer it. But poor thing, that's what the state board did to her. They just told her she couldn't work as either kind of nurse anymore. They pulled her license. Jesus. Now they put people on probation. I've had staff over the years that I've had to work with the state board and like ask them for random urine samples. I don't like stuff like that. But again, if you're the boss, you get the shit. I mean, the stuff nobody would want to do or should have to do. So I felt bad for her. It's a lot more relaxed now that people get like 3 strikes, stealing patients' drugs and stuff.
But as a patient, do you really want those people that are on their second strike already? I don't know.
Well, actually, my cousin, he's passed now, but that I talk about, Bud, she was an LPN and his sister was an RN. But anyway, they were 10 or 12 years older than me, and they are kind of what inspired me to want to be a nurse. But he lost his license from stealing pain medications, not from the patients, but from the stock. They used to keep like a bottle of morphine or a bottle of this or that. Now they don't. Every patient comes up from the pharmacy like for that day or something.
Right.
What does warfarin come in different doses, but taken at the same time as what? Why does warfarin, which is Coumadin, come in different doses, but taken at the same time as 2 different pills? I'm not understanding it. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but I'm not understanding what you're saying.
It sounds like you take 2 different pills of the same dose, like say 500 milligrams or whatever. I'm just throwing a number out there. You take 2 500 milligrams at the same time?
That may be what he means. Yeah. And remember now, guys, and I don't talk about it much here, but I did have a stroke that I found when I had that psychological testing, thinking I had dementia, and it wasn't dementia. It was that I had a little stroke. So I can't do days, dates, numbers, times, nothing like that. I can't write checks. I haven't been able to do that for a long time. And I'll be looking at a number. If it's 3, and I'll say 9. It's just my brain doesn't. I do know the speed limit. Thank God I can tell that. So I don't know. Daniel Velez, I look back and always realize how lucky I was throughout my career. Would not change a thing. You know what? I was damn lucky. A lot of the things that I used to do, I would never fathom doing those now. Going to the OR and getting a patient that's on a ventilator that just had open heart surgery, putting them in the elevator and bringing them to ICU and being their nurse for 12 hours. You think I would do something like that? No, hell no. But, 20, 22 years old, oh, I can do it.
Right.
I mean, I did, but I wouldn't do that. Maybe it's the pharmacy. Nope, I didn't know it, Trash Cat. I know that ruins the image you had of me of being a pharmacist, but I think it's probably like that they're getting 7.5 milligrams daily based on their PT, their prothrombin time, and it just comes in 2.5 and 5. That's the way it used to be, and so you take one of each dose to get 7.5 milligrams. That may be what he's asking. But if it's any more complex than that, I won't know. Floyd said that was it. You waking up, Bubba? He's ignoring us. Bob, have you ever taken somebody out of surgery outside to have a cigarette? Not out of surgery, but I've gone out with a lot of surgeons and nurses out of ICU and OR and ER and smoked. We used to be able to smoke inside. You didn't even have to go out. You could sit right there at the desk in the ER and smoke.
In the 80s, probably into the 90s. I don't remember when that changed, but
in the 90s, because when I was still working at Baptist Hospital down in Jacksonville, I used to be the evening house supervisor, and I'd go around and get report from each head nurse on each floor and then give it to the night supervisor, assistant director is what we were called, but it was a title to get you to do all the crap. But anyway, I would smoke in their little report room. I try to go to each floor and listen to them tape the reports they were big on. given tape reports so somebody could listen while other people, all the nurses couldn't be off the floor at once talking to each other was the point. And I didn't care, it being a little, 8x3 room. And, I was the boss. That was so rude now that I think about it, but I'd light up all the time in there. Rude, rude, rude. Ischemic episode about 208. Spoke Chinese for a while, still can't do math in my head. Like a trans ischemic attack, a TIA. Wow. I thought that was what tequila was for. How do we get on all these stuff?
I have no idea.
I don't even.
They've got their own little conversation going on there.
All right. Well, unless you want to stay longer. Well,
no, we can, and I got to go to the little boys' room anyway.
all right. I do too. And at this age, you don't want to push your luck too long.
No.
Too far. Trust me, you'll find out.
I know.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Guy and Whip. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you staying with me. But I really wanted to see if Bunny was okay. Maybe I'll message her. So.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks to everybody.
See you later, everybody.
Bye-bye. Good night. And